What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. With that being said, man, I want to speak on the statements that Rich Paul recently made on his podcast about VJ Edgecombe, right? And this, in my opinion, is a prime example of why agents, general managers, and players really don't dig clutch sports and Rich Paul, because of the things that they do and the things that they say about players that they don't really manage, right? And these like you they can really end your career based on some of the things that they say and do publicly, right? Um, everybody was really outraged when Rich Paul was calling for the Lakers or suggested that the Lakers trade Austin Reeves, right? Which I thought was was unprofessional and wasn't cool. You know, I don't know, people was, a lot of people get up in arms when Stephen A. Smith do something like that publicly because it kind of diminishes the value of the player. Now you have a guy like VJ Edgecombe, and he's coming off of a rookie campaign that was really, really good, right? And then you got Rich Paul making these kind of statements that is to me it pisses off the fans because like Philly fans are looking at this. Okay, we got a promising new prospect, right? We got Maxi, we got Edgecombe, we got Brown. That trio right there, can put us over the top if they develop the right way. But then when you have Rich Paul coming in saying the things that he said about VJ Edgecombe, trying to weasel him out of the picture so LeBron James can dominate that situation. Fans really don't like that. That's fans really don't dig that. And then so if you look at it from a agent's point of view, right? You're managing this guy. And so if Rich Paul puts this guy in a position where as though he's not going to get the money that he's not going to get as much money, or he had to move to a different team, that affects the agent too. The agent, had to take a pay cut. The player probably had to take a pay cut. So agents don't like this situation especially when you talk about their client and you devalue their client to any, that situation is really not a good situation, right? So what I want to do is I want to play shout out to 93 Zay, because that's where I got this, this audio from. So shout out to 93 Zay, but I want to play what Rich Paul had to say, and I'm going to come back and give some more of my input.
The second most benefactor is VJ Edgecombe. And the reason why I say that is because if he embraces it the right way and don't listen to anybody on social media channels in terms
you're only averaging 12 and a half points this year.
That don't matter.
Right. Does not matter.
Because points don't necessarily equate to a deal all the time. I think people get that's so confusing.
Now, see, that's what I'm saying. All right. So, and he's not even a coach on the team. So, like, if I can see if a coach gets you to play, a coach say, all right, you had success scoring 25 points a game last season, right? But the team, we're going to need you to score 20 points a game or 18 points. You know what I mean? They ask you to make that sacrifice. But coming from somebody else's agent, that's not that's not cool. It's not cool at all. So when you have, because Rich Paul really can't make that statement. Only a coach can make that statement because the coach has a vision for like what's going to make that team successful. Rich Paul is on the outside looking in, right? So and so he's just speculating, just like everybody else. Anybody can look at that team and say, well, if this guy's get this many, this amount of rebounds, or this guy do this or do that, you just speculating. Only the coach knows, like from a chemistry standpoint, what's going to work for that team and be able to put that team over the top. And so when you have Rich Paul, it's obvious that Rich Paul is basically trying to diminish this guy, telling him that points are not important, and then which I know is wrong because LeBron James is not going to score a whole lot of points next year. Not he, and if he do, he's not as efficient. He's not getting to the basket like their top three guys. He's not getting to the basket like a Brown. He's not getting to the basket like Edgecombe or Maxey, right? So he's not going to be as efficient as those guys. And yeah, to me, it's just a bad look. Um, and he has the nerve to be telling, saying that Edgecombe don't listen to the media, don't listen to, what he need to do. Edgecombe is just listen to his coach and listen to his agent and see how this situation plays out, and just try to basically weather this storm, man. Because I think LeBron James got 2 years. That's a lot, like that's a long time. They can really disrupt your this guy's career in 2 years. That's if he let him. That's if he let him. But I can see why players around the league don't really like Rich Paul. And I think this strategy that Rich Paul with this podcast is going to really backfire on him. Because remember, Rich Paul already came out and said that other agents are going to players, potential clients, and telling them don't do business with Rich Paul. And, for this reason or that reason, he always put LeBron James as his main priority, right? And they can use stuff like this as proof. You see Rich Paul on TV mainly just trying to undercut other players, and so LeBron James can elevate LeBron James. And so Rich Paul is just giving them ammunition to use against him, which in the long run I think is going to backfire on Rich Paul. And so yeah, he's just really, like I said, and if I'm a Philly fan, and I've seen what this kid did last year, I want to see him continue to grow. I want to see him progress so, the team can get better and move on. I don't think like LeBron James is the future. So they're willing to mess up this guy's career, Edgecombe's career, just for temporary satisfaction for LeBron James. So maybe LeBron, his stats can be, he can continue to stat pad and and then there'll be a situation where LeBron James may throw somebody under the bus. People are talking about LeBron James is going to, if he don't have the type of season, one of the scapegoats is going to be Joel Embiid. They already talking about Joel Embiid and his health and his availability and stuff like that, right? So it's not going to fall on LeBron James. So, and a lot of people, not just the people in LA, but a lot of people around the league, man, just can't wait for LeBron James, that era, to be over with. Because it's just not, I don't know. Like I said, he just sucks up all the air and all the attention out of the room. And I think I think LeBron James kind of stunts the growth of this team. He stunts the growth of the players around him. Like the young players around him really don't get to develop. And a lot of times it's like that with veterans on a team, because teams are really not, unless in most cases they don't really want to move away from the veteran too fast, especially somebody like LeBron James, who's been the face of the league. And you see the same thing on the Golden State Warriors, right? Where up and coming players really don't get the opportunity to shine like they want to, because it's still all about Steph Curry. As long as Steph Curry is playing, it's going to be about him. Even if they're not winning as much as they would like to, the teams ain't just going to ride this thing until the wheels fall off. And so if you're a younger player and caught up in that type of situation with somebody like a Steph Curry or LeBron James, then you got to find a way to navigate that situation and manage that. But Rich Paul telling this guy, advising him not to worry about points and stuff like that, man, I definitely would not take advice from Rich Paul, because ain't no, really no way, that you could listen to Rich Paul and just have any type, like, it's not going to benefit Edgecombe, especially after the season that he had last year. Now you're going to tell him not to score, and you're not even a coach. You're like, no, don't worry about points. So, all the points that really fall on Maxey, and Brown. Joel Embiid, you know, they'll feed him from time to time. LeBron James will get his points from time to time. But this is not really a good look when you talk about the you know what LeBron James agent is doing, man. It's just not cool at all. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, man, I'm gonna check y'all out in the next video. Peace.